Hey everyone, it's Little Lollycat here, and I am coming to you with a Wish haul. And for those of you who don't know what Wish is, it's basically a shopping app that lets you buy direct from the manufacturer, so you kind of cut out the middleman costs. And it is notoriously cheap, so it can be interesting what you actually end up with versus what you actually bought. Like, things can often look exactly how they look on the picture but not be what you expect. It's a weird situation. So, lots of people have asked me about as well doing basically ABDL and stuff like that on the cheap, and Wish is basically one of the ways you can really do that. So basically, I set myself a limit for the amount of money I was spending, and I was like, okay, I'll get a selection of things to actually show and see how they are, because there are some very popular items on the site, like the onesies with I Heart Daddy on them, which I'll show pictures of. There's the long socks that are pretty much everywhere with like the deers and foxes and that are fuzzy and striped, stuff like that. There are the pocket diapers, which are also on there. Personally, I haven't bought those ones because every so often with ABDL you'll find that the items you can buy and you know are good quality are occasionally about the same price as the items you can get on there. So I ordered from there basically a mix of basics and what a lot of people want. So I have ordered, the original order included a onesie, which I'll show. I'll just show everything down the side if you're wondering. So I ordered a onesie, I ordered a pack of bows, so a little small shield guarded passy because I've got loads and I'll probably just break it apart and use the passy from it. I ordered ruffled plastic pants which have a fabric cover on them. I ordered one of those onesie Saifuku style sailor dresses, so it's got the onesie underneath and the sailor skirt, which are very popular right now. I ordered a top, a passy gag, just double checking, and a couple of rompers basically. So what I will say is that was my initial order, and I did get it for much cheaper than stated, but the onesie I ordered, it turned out they were out of stock in my size, so they basically refunded me the item, and I got another voucher for 50% off from Wish, which are quite good for basically giving you massive vouchers constantly. So to replace it, I bought another onesie, but because it was so cheap now, because of the 50% off, I also ordered one of the long pairs of socks I had been looking at. I ordered a couple of pairs of tights. I ordered a cherry romper sort of onesie as well, so I ordered a couple of other things as well, which in theory would have put this Wish order to around £100, but not really because I got a bunch of discounts as well. So you will see next to everything it's got the price stated, but obviously with Wish there's this habit of if you buy a size or colour different to the one stated on the thing, your price suddenly jumps up. So be aware of that, and they do charge more for larger sizes as well, so you kind of get off if you're a bit smaller. But also watch out because a lot of the stuff is in Asian sizing, so if you are US based, be aware you might have to size up a couple of sizes to actually fit these things. In general, I am quite lucky because I am also quite short, so I generally still am about the same size as Asian sizing as I am in basically UK sizing, because European sizing can be a bit smaller as well. So, without further ado, in this lovely Domino's bag, so that I could keep it all together, is my Wish order. Ooh. Ooh. So, starting with, basically, I have tried quite a few of these things on and seen how feasible they are, because I didn't have to make sure as well that I actually got everything. So starting from the top, something I haven't pulled out is obviously this small guard passy, which has got the adult teat on it. Small guard passy, it is just a standard one. It's one of the ones that basically I know Little for Big did them for a while, and I think ODU did them for a while, and literally you can buy it on there for £2. It says it was free and you just paid shipping, but it was £2 regardless, so it was either £2 with free shipping, or it was £2, or it was free with £2 shipping. So it's basically just a standard one, which these are really easy to tear apart if you're going to modify anything. They do not go back together, I will warn you that, and obviously it's a child side guard, so small. Yes. Outside of that, let's just tip out the bag. Tip out the bag. So much stuff. There we go. Okay. So, Passy. There is this, which I got. It was one of the first items to show up, and I will say everything showed up within a couple of weeks, and I absolutely love this thing. Which is basically just a fuzzy, fleecy, jumpery one piece. But it's so soft, and it's got little bear ears on it, and it's so fluffy. But what I will say is it came with the zip kind of apart like this. And this worried me, thinking it was going to be an awkward zip. But it's a standard, basically. It's a little bit awkward because of where the how they've done the stitching. But it's a standard hoodie zip, so you just push it back down and it goes up again. I will also say you're getting direct from manufacturer, so a lot of these things seem to have like what looks like loose threads, but they're not really loose threads, they're just bits from like factory floors. So if you see it, do not be concerned. There we go. Yeah. And I spent ages trying to fix this zip, not realising it wasn't broken, it was just they'd used the wrong kind of zip for what it was. So this. I got... These were in the second order, and they came quite quickly. And they are the fuzzy socks that pretty much every little ABDL shop and Little for Big and that all sell. And I think they cost me like £3 at the end of it. And I was a bit nervous about buying these because I have chunky little tree trunks basically for legs. So usually I do not like these things. And I'm never sure about fit in case they're digging into my thighs, but I will say they are actually quite good. I will show everything on in a second. I'm just quickly running through and showing you what actually showed up. There are these ruffle sort of Roomba pants that are gingham, and they have the plastic pants inside. I got these little bows, which are kind of adorable. They come in all sorts of different colours. You can get either like the 6-packs like I did in one colour, or you can get a multi-pack colour. They come in like pinks and blues as well. These tights, which they say they're supposed to be light pink, but they're kind of a peachy orange colour, which is a bit strange. And I will say they look really short, but I have worn the white ones out a couple of times and they weirdly fit me, surprisingly. But I think you'd be a bit stuck if you were taller, basically. There are these rompers, one in unicorn and one in fox. What I will say is I am a little disappointed with these because of the fabrics. These are not made to the fabric you would expect. You would expect them to have some stretch to them. It does not really have any stretch to them. And there are no zips or buttons to put you in them. So basically you kind of need to go by hip size instead of what I did and go by waist. But I can still get them on. The cherry onesie sort of romper thing, which somehow has come with the cherries upside down, but I read the reviews when I was ordering them and I did see that apparently like in half of them the cherries were upside down. It will still go under stuff. It'll fit with like some of the rockabilly stuff I have, and it's a bit more of like a weird thong type back, but we'll see. Here is the purple onesie, which I have already tried on. Which I will say I actually like it more than I thought I would, because I originally went for something a little bit more plain. I don't really like particularly busy onesies usually, so... But it's not the worst, and I think it could actually go with some of the things I own, so... Yes. I will say it is quite soft, it just... A lot of the onesies, from what I can tell, and a lot of the fabrics only have 2-way stretch instead of 4-way, so if you're taller you need to really watch out. Next up is a pair of white tights that are really dirty because I wore them out and I've managed to get like the side of a car down them, which is quite impressive. Here is the Saifku sort of style onesie. I am not sure about fit for this personally. I have gone for a medium, so I've gone up a size, but I did notice that this is the full stretch of the armhole because it doesn't have any stretch to it. It's also sideways stretch, not length, which could be an issue. It is thinner than I kind of expected, but it's not too bad. This stuff obviously isn't stretchy, but it is kind of like lining material, but it looks okay. And here's the skirt that goes with it. For anyone like me that has a smaller waist and massive hips and thighs, box pleats are usually an avoidant one because we stretch that out. But there's a skirt. It is a little bit, it's obviously short and probably a little bit see-through. We will see. And the final two items, because I know loads of people are into these, is a passy gag, which obviously I once again got for cheap. But it's glittery and it's white and it does seem to be quite sturdy. So, and the final one, the final item, that this, I will say, basically I had the option. I was going to add one in because I wasn't telling Mr. over there everything I was ordering. I was just ordering them. So I was like, I'm going to add in at least one cringe item. And I either thought it was going to be an I Heart Daddy one or something with daddy sprawled across it because you know you can't really wear them. And I thought about the I Heart Daddy onesie, but then I found this going for £1, which I got down to 50p. So this monstrosity of a weird placed belt that says yes daddy and is the short. Yeah. 10 out of 10. So yes, I'm gonna go try all these on. I'm gonna tell you what I actually think about them and tell you about fit. So be back in a bit. Okay, so first items on is the Fuzzy Wuzzy suit, which has the ears. I will say the hood is quite short on it for some reason, but it's got the cute little ears. It is super soft, it is super snuggly. It is really comfortable. Once again, it's just got like a weird fastening for some reason. It's fastened like a hoodie, not a, well, like a hoodie jumpery thing, not like a onesie would be, which is a bit strange, but basically if it comes like that and if you buy it and it comes like that, don't be surprised. The one thing I will say with it is I did size up. I feel like I should have gotten a size smaller than I actually did, given the amount of space in this thing. But the one, especially the legroom gap, right? But the problem with this is because it's got such a massive legroom gap, it's okay while I'm standing, but when I'm sitting down, basically it rides up to like here, and then you just see everything here, which is not the best. I am wearing currently as well the peachy coloured tights. I am wearing the peachy coloured tights. They are not the colour I obviously ordered, so it's a bit like, but I'm not going to really complain for £1. And the socks, which I genuinely wasn't sure about when I first got, because I really didn't think that they would either fit my leg, because I have chunky legs, or they would be so horrendous that I would just absolutely hate them. But I actually don't mind them so much, because they are so soft and fluffy, and if you're like me, soft and fluffy usually equates to kind of little space. Although I will say, given the fact that I keep seeing them going for like £10 to £20 when you can buy them from the factory for basically 2 to 3, it's a bit mad. That's quite a markup. So yeah, but I might go back for more of these in just different colours and like the panda ones and stuff like that, because I actually do like these. They are very, very comfortable. What I will say right now is I am wearing basically one of the thickest disposables that I have on, so we're basically seeing how things fit with that on. Yay! Okay, next items.
Poor giraffe.
Don't stay up. Okay, second bundle. So, is the purple onesie and little headband bow things, which are obviously just little crocodile clips, which I do really like. They were really cheap as well, so I'm not going to complain about those. They came really fast and they were really cheap. So, part 2 is really the onesie, which I will say, part of this onesie, I have seen it around quite a lot. Parts of this onesie are upside down printed and other parts aren't. Like the arm is the right way around. See the drips going down, and the main body is upside down going upwards. So I mean, that's an impressive ad. But I will say that this is actually quite cute. What?
You have her arms upside down.
I know. But basically, it's still a cute print and it's a bit messy, so unless you're really looking, you're not going to notice it. So it's not the end of the world, especially for a really cheap onesie. So I'm not going to complain too much. However, I will say I actually ordered this in a size small, so it still fits, surprisingly. It does have some stretch outwards, quite a bit of stretch. However, it doesn't have stretch downwards. So I would say that if you are too much taller than me, you'd probably be a bit worse off. So this clothes is obviously reasonably comfortably on me. I'm wearing like extra padding more than usual. I'm wearing thicker dips just to make sure that it fits comfortably. So basically I'd say if you're over like 5'2", you're probably going to struggle to fit lengthwise. You'd have to go for a higher size, but other than that, it's reasonably cute, it's reasonably well made, it has stretch to it, sometimes the wrong ways. Also has stretch in the arms, which is important to me because I have quite chunky arms, so it's comfortable. Not much to say there. Okay, so bundle number 3. So this is the cherry onesie rompery thing, which I have to say I don't mind the fact that the cherries are upside down. It doesn't bother me that much. It's reasonably comfortable. Obviously it's a little bit stretched out now with what I'm wearing underneath it, but basically it's kind of like a standard normal girl onesie you can kind of get away with, because these do exist, and it goes a bit more with some of the rockabilly clothes I own, so that's always a plus. However, what I will say is that they clearly try to make it overly sexual, because it's got like the hips up to here, but not just that, it's got basically like a thong butt, which is all manners of hilarity to me personally. It is just ridiculous, but surprisingly comfortable, so I mean, I'm not going to complain too much. And then next up, as I do my great reveal, dun 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 dun, are the plastic pants. So basically they're cloth covered with the plastic underneath. What I will say is basically the leg holes don't sit quite right on me. Like, I think they're a bit too loose, so I think I would have had to go down a size, because I got a medium in those. I got a small in this, I got a medium in these, but the leg holes are too large, so I probably should have got a size down, but they didn't have them in stock, so I went with a medium instead of a small. So they are gingham with the ruffles. So I think they'd be okay to wear, but I don't think they'd be great to wear for if you're going to do multiple hours in a dip sort of thing. There might be slight dip leakage issues. So definitely not a bedtime wear, but for like a few hours they're probably fine. Yeah, and I don't mind the ruffles. The ruffles are fine. They are cute. I like them more than I thought I would. They mildly won me over. Also the fact that, what kind of kills me about the fact that they don't have leg holes that fit is that my biggest complaint about plastic pants is always the waistband, because it's usually plastic, and this one's fabric, which means it doesn't hurt me the same. It doesn't stick to my skin and hurt. So yeah, not bad. Basically I would definitely, if I could get them in a size smaller, I would, and I would be very happy in them. Despite how puffed out they actually look, I will say there is actually definitely room in here. So yeah, these ones I would say are okay. So here are these things. I would say they probably don't look that bad. However, I will say that there are major issues with these, including this, which has that there, so there is no way to attach this safely and have it stay in place without it falling apart. Thumbs up. Next up, this fabric is so ridiculously thin with basically no stretch that it's kinda just no. It's like wearing lining material. It's a jersey, but it's the thinnest of the thin jersey. I didn't even know you could get jerseys this thin, basically. Next up, the fact that it has no stretch means that it has this waistband here, which obviously comes in, but there's no way to get into it. Because according to their site, basically I sized up. So this is a small. I sized up. So, their small should theoretically fit me fine. I had issues getting into this the first time I put it on. I have had to switch out of a dip and into a dry night so that I could get this on. Because there is absolutely no stretch, my waist size would fit the Asian extra small for this and the hip size of an Asian extra small for this, but it will not fit if you have to haul it on. So I sized up because I heard there was some weird fabric issues going on. Which is a shame, because realistically the print is really cute, and I know that it's like a replica from a company called Milky something, and usually here it would have the, because of this sort of attachment, it's the wrong kind of attachment. So that would usually be a two-piece attachment, where that is attached down there and you can basically flick it up. But that's not there. So it doesn't make any sense, basically. Which is an issue, but I will say they were obviously only about £6 each. I obviously got a discount on that still, but they were only about £6 at the end of the day, so they weren't the worst. So, what I will say though is there is obviously a size difference as well, because the Fox one, when I first put it on, was actually harder to get on than this one. So, we will see what the Fox one looks like. Which is a shame, because realistically, this does look like the picture, it does look quite cute. It is a replica piece, they just haven't quite got the quality there yet. And they've obviously skimped out on the fabric to cheapen the piece so that it is cheaper to produce, but by doing so and not making up for it with like just a simple button or a zip would have been fine. That would have been enough so that you could climb in without damaging the piece. However, the way it is, it's likely you might break it if you have bigger hips than waist. If you're pretty flat and you're going by your hip waist measurement, you're probably fine, but if you do have chunkier thighs and hips, just keep an eye out. Okay, so second romper. This is the Fox one, and I will say part of the reason I think this fit differently to that one and was a bit more of a pain to get on is it's a slightly different fabric, which I didn't notice straight away. However, touching it now, it is a very staticky fabric for some reason. It feels like a cheap lining fabric, and when I'm moving about I can feel it riding up my butt. I mean, the print is cute enough. It's got the same issues as the other one, obviously, where literally just a zip would fix it. So, it is obviously a different colour scheme. They had a few different options on there. I thought these two were the best options. It's just, I mean, if it was the right fabric, I feel like it could be quite cute. But once again, it's a very strange fabric for the choice of item. It doesn't have the entryway that you really require in clothes. It's staticky and clingy, more so than the other one was. And it gives me that general, I can feel the static on my arms. It's like, this may sound weird to say, but when I was in America and I went through Target, I touched a bunch of the clothes in Target and I came out so statically charged that I basically shocked everyone for the next hour. And every time we visited a Target, this happened. And this is what's going on in this, which is it's not normal, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a bit strange, which is a shame because they do look cute. I will say once again, obviously they're really thin, and it really is a case of every time I step, this rides up my butt. To the point that it could be a problem. So, I think there's a reason they are £6. Once again, I got this one obviously in a size small, but there really does seem to be a reason these things are marked at £6 and not more. I would really rather just pay the extra and get it made in a better fabric than something that feels like this. Okay, so the final piece, which I have left to last for good reason, because I have mildly done these in the order in which I like them. I think this might have been a subconscious thing, but I genuinely think that's how I've managed to do this. So this is the Saifuku style onesie, and it is a mess. And what might not be totally apparent to you right now, because you can't actually feel it and see it in person, is just the quality of the fabrics used is ridiculously bad. This thing is paper thin, it is see-through. Literally, you can see the light for it really badly. You can see hands. It is not well made. It is basically lining material, which really sucks, given this was actually one of the more expensive items I bought. It is, for some reason, I don't understand why they've used, once again, there's a traditional thing, which I know a lot of companies as well who have ever dealt with, or people who have ever dealt with basically factories will know that for some reason they try and skimp out and use a cheaper jersey which only has stretch one way, so there's absolutely no movement downwards. But not only this, they don't make them long enough. I am under 5 foot. I sized up on this. So by their standards, I should be a size smaller than I am wearing right now, but I sized up because I heard such questionable reviews about how short it was. And I still can't close it, thus the ruffle pants underneath. Because it literally won't shut. And part of the reason for this is because in skimping out and cheaping on little details, they've made it so that the areas that should be able to stretch can't. So, if you can't see, I'm basically cutting off circulation to my arms because it's stuck to this size. I mean, I can fit in children's clothing and I'm struggling here. That's not a good sign. This fabric they've used here has absolutely no stretch. It's the same as this fabric. It has absolutely no stretch in any direction, no way at all. So while the onesie above it moves, that doesn't, which is pointless. It's uncomfortable and pointless. Next up is they've used the same sort of binding here, bias binding, as they have used on the onesie legs here, which, as you know, is kind of an important area, given that's the area that usually needs to stretch the most so that you can actually get your legs in. So the way that there's two snaps, they are not strong. I can barely snap it together, and I'm less than 5 foot tall. And this, because there is absolutely no stretch to that, or give to it, the snaps can't reach. Which makes this piece just completely pointless. Like, completely, I cannot throw this out there enough. Do not waste your money on this one. You would have to, I'm 4'10". 4'10". So you would have to be, realistically, I would say you would have to be a couple of inches shorter than me to get this to close and stay closed. I got to close a couple of times, it wouldn't stay closed. So realistically, if you would have to probably be about 4'8", probably 4'6" to 4'8" to get a size medium to fit your body length. And even then, you would want it so that you have pretty much planked nothing there, because if you have a slight bit of movement around your hips, if they widen at all or anything like that, it's going to be a problem. I cannot throw out enough how pointless this one was. It is so bad. Oh, and this is also why I don't wear box pleats. Just when you stretch them out so much at the bottom, they no longer box pleat. It's, yeah, just, I don't mind this. I think this is quite cute. Everything else though, also, because this is all the way around, I almost struggled to put my head through the hole. I got stuck there, which is actually why I took my pigtails out earlier, because I tried to put this on and my head got stuck in the holes. So then we did everything else and then came back to this. Just, yeah. I would say this one's a big disaster. What concerns me though is I've seen quite a few different places sell this, and I know I've seen it. It's even sold on Amazon, it's sold all over the place. And this is of such low quality, I can't believe it. The fact that the onesie over there was fine in a size smaller. It might have been a bit iffy if you were taller than me, but it closed and it was comfortable. A size smaller with basically the thickest dip I own underneath it. Whereas this, no. I can't believe something is too short for me. That doesn't happen. It really doesn't happen. So while we're here doing our ridiculousness, let's just add to this. So while I'm adding to my ridiculous plans, may I just question everyone who owns this top or has seen this top online? What is the point of that? Come on! I mean, it's like, where do they think my boobs are? Where did they think this was going to cover? Who was this going to cover when it stops here? This is it stretched, there we go. Some people on Instagram, I think there might be a single picture of me in this where I have had to duct tape them down and in to try and make them stay there because look at that! What is that? But I mean, it's worth the cringe quality, so I mean, can I really complain? Yes. Obviously, things that haven't been shown. Passy gag. It's just a standard passy with like a bolt for it. It's literally just screwed on, and this is kind of like a dog collar that's glittery. You can't really go too wrong with it. It's not going to do any damage. For people who might wonder if it's uncomfortable, I did try it on. It isn't uncomfortable, and it can just stay there. It's not bad. And obviously the blue passy. So this has been my entire wish order. Some of them have been very, very regrettable decisions. One of them has been amazing. That fluffy suit. I swear I am probably going to go back. I bought it in the colour pink, although it doesn't look pink. But I'm probably going to go back and buy more of those ones because those and the fluffy socks were just so comfortable. I can't explain how nice it was. Especially considering it's cold right now. So just snuggled up in those is just like, yes, perfection. Yeah. But with Wish, obviously, you kind of get what you pay for. You know things aren't going to be perfect. Some things are welcome surprises, like that fluffy suit. But yeah, I would say, obviously, if you're buying standard things like these, I mean, £2, it can't go too wrong. It does take about, this I will say was the longest thing to show up, and it took about 5 weeks, which is actually quite bad for Wish. I would personally rather pay a couple £2 extra and actually get it delivered within a week as opposed to 5 weeks to save a couple of £1, if I'm going for it, to be honest. But beyond that, it really wasn't the best. I will say there are things on there, like there are adult baby bottles, and they're going for £10 to £18 each. Now, I know that there's a big deal about this and people really love them, but I really need to reiterate the fact that the teat on the end of a lot of these ones, the especially long one, if you are looking for these, as long as you buy the right size bottle, those teats are actually quite cheap, especially because they're livestock teats. They're the types they use on lambs. You can buy them really cheap. Just look into it if you're gonna do it, as opposed to throwing £18 for a cheap bottle with a cheap teat, basically. So it is possible to do ABDL and cheap. I would say that this place isn't the cheapest. Wish isn't always the cheapest. There were things that I had seen on Wish that I could get elsewhere for cheaper. Training pants for one. The cloth diapers that would take inserts were another. They were actually more expensive on Wish than I could see them in other places. So have a look around, but really just remember a lot of the time you're paying what you're getting. So if you're I'm still wearing this. Just try and take me seriously. But really, you're paying for what you're getting. So every so often there's basically a gem hidden in there. But basically, if you're going to do it, just splash out a little. you might not be able to. Just save up a little and get yourself something a little bit more luxurious, I would say. Except for that fluffy suit. Seriously, buy that fluffy suit. That fluffy suit, that's got my bra on it. That fluffy suit is just sheer joy. Sheer joy. Yeah. And that's all for now, everyone. Bye!